Hey everyone, this is Austin Schur here with We Write About Music, and today I'm speaking with Alexa Laine. She has just shared her newest single titled Miss Me, and I am super excited to talk to her all about it. Alexa, I want to thank you so much for coming on today. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. What's new in the world of your music?
Well, so this is my second official single that I have released. Previously, I had one that I released out in March. That was my first, just to kind of get my feet wet. I'm still very new in the industry, just kind of learning as I'm going. And yes, this is my second one. And I think, after my first release, I definitely learned a lot and grew a lot. And, I realized, oh, wow, like people actually like the music that I make.
Yeah,
And so, yeah, I'm very, very excited about this one. It seems to be having a great response so far. And
as
yeah,
it
I'm just
should.
excited to see where things are going. I've got a few projects that I'm working on that are still under wraps.
Yeah, of course.
But yeah, I'm excited. I'm loving life right now.
Awesome. Well, as fantastic as the song actually sounds, I want to kind of dig into more of the lyric side of things. I'd love for you to sort of expand on what it's about and what it means to you.
Yeah, so it is written to somebody that left a good thing to sleep around, pretty much. That's sort of the basis of the story. It's based around sort of my thoughts. We were in a stage where we weren't talking. And so it was kind of me relaying my thoughts. It sounds trippy, but like almost like subliminally, almost just kind of, hoping that they can hear me just through me writing down this music and playing it. Hopefully that maybe the universe will somehow send it their way. But it's basically written to somebody that left a good thing to date around, and they're gonna miss me at the end of the day. They're gonna date around, they're gonna have their fun, and then at the end of the day they're gonna come back and they're gonna be by themselves and be alone and lost a really good thing, lost the best thing they ever had. So
It seems
that's
to be an all too common scenario,
very
unfortunately.
relatable for sure. That was something that I got. I had some of my friends. That's a lot of my fan base is a lot of, just my friends at this point. And,
Yeah,
they were sending me back Snapchats and they're, like, this is just, hitting hard. I had a couple friends that went through breakups very recently. And one of them hit me hard. So I'm just going to go on it. But like, she sent me a Snapchat of her on the beach. She went to Florida for the weekend, and she just was bawling her eyes out, and she was like, this song is just everything that I needed right now. And I was like, this is why I do this
right.
is exactly why I do this. I want people to connect. I want people to feel like they can relate. There's other people out there feeling and going through the same things that they are.
Absolutely.
So yeah, seeing that, I was just like, this is why I do what I
That's
do.
what makes it worth it in the end. And it's
Yeah.
tough because every artist who writes about anything personal to them typically has to relive those traumas, and it's not always the best situation.
Yeah.
However, I think situations like this where you actually get feedback and positive feedback, that's what makes
Yeah.
it all worth it.
And it's scary, like, especially with the way that I write, it's very, very personal. A lot of times I'm
Yeah,
putting out a lot of stuff that potentially is scary or even potentially embarrassing stuff to talk about.
yeah.
And, I think musicians, we put ourselves, kind of in a very vulnerable place with our music.
Hmm.
But, then I think that vulnerability is what really causes a great song to come out of it, is when
Exactly.
you just completely rip your heart open, and just however you're feeling is what you end up making. And people
It's
love that. So,
true. No, there's too
yeah.
much. I mean, I hate to say it, but there's too much bad music out there where it's all manufactured stories and things
Yep.
not from the heart, but it also comes to light because you can listen and understand and know that it's not a real situation. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
I want to put aside the message for just a moment because I do want to talk about the production here. The
Yes.
song itself sounds fantastic, and for anyone that's going to listen, I highly recommend putting on a nice pair of headphones because it really like just kind of expands everything, and it's really just fantastic.
I
Yeah,
have
who
been
did you work on it with?
incredibly lucky with my producer. His name is Bailey Waller,
Okay.
and I have been incredibly lucky with him. He is unbelievably talented. Him and I worked on, I had like, when I was trying to get into producing back
Mhm.
in 2018 was my first time. Sorry if I'm just going off on a thing. I hope that's okay. Feel free to cut me off.
What this is. There are no rules here.
Yes, I haven't done an interview before, so
Yeah,
hopefully this is how these go. But so for the very, like, I've been writing music since I was a kid. I've been doing it forever. I've done it by myself in my bedroom. Nobody besides maybe my family through the other side of the door have heard
sure.
my music. Didn't perform or anything like that. But I decided one day, I just want to see if I can just get one produced. So I started looking into it. Bailey was the son of one of my mom's friends. So it was kind of a mutual connection that way. I know, very random. But he was in a band. He was getting his feet wet with production, and he was referred to me. So I set up a time. We recorded a single together. It was a great learning experience. I can say between 2018 and now, I have grown incredibly as a songwriter. I have really kind of cleaned up my work. I think that was a very important, I think that song was a very important song for me to do. It's called Euphoria.
Mm,
I left it up on my SoundCloud, but I don't have it on anywhere else.
okay.
So if you want to check out Euphoria, you can, but it was my very first song ever producing. And, I just think it kind of really made me realize, okay, this is what I want to do differently next time. And so after I did that song, I kind of just took a break from making music for a couple years. I had just started a new job. And so I was, just kind of put things on hold and didn't do it after that. So that was just kind of a fun project for me to do. Well, then I went this year, after COVID. I think COVID was just a crazy year for us all. I think it was an eye-opening year for us all. And that's exactly what it was for me. It was, just kind of a time of reflection, and, life is too short. You don't know if you're going to have the next day.
Yeah.
And so I just said, I'm just going to make music. I make music. Nobody really knows that I make music. And it's something that's personal to me that I've been doing forever. I'm just going to put myself out there. I'm just going to make a single. We're going to do it. So I got with Bailey and I said, hey, it had been a couple years since we'd done anything. And I said, hey, are you down to produce another song for me? And he was like, oh, hey, like, this is great timing. I had actually taken a break from music myself, and I'm just planning on coming back into it. So we were kind of both coming back into this journey together. So then we recorded Mr. Maybe. That was my first like official release. I put it out on Spotify. That was my first, official one.
Sure.
People loved it. I got a great response to it. People were really having fun with that song. It's kind of an 80s kind of vibey song. And people, I think I started, ears started turning my way. And so that really encouraged me after I put that out to keep going. So I got with Bailey and I said, let's do another one. And so we got together and we made Miss Me. And Miss Me, it was just this cool little melody that I had made up on the piano that I wrote an entire song around. And it was during a very vulnerable period of my life, which we talked about the story. So I
Sure.
just made up this little melody that
Yeah.
I'd made that up on the piano. And then I just kind of wrote this whole story around it. I brought it to him and he immediately was like, yeah, I like this one. The melody gets stuck in your head after you hear it.
Yeah, I'm gonna throw a compliment your way and say I did play it a couple times last night for some friends that were in the apartment, and they all really enjoyed it. And
Good.
I'm not blowing smoke at you. We're humming the melody for the
It does that.
melody.
Everybody I've shown it to hums it.
Yeah, so that's when you
Yeah.
know you've got a good song on your hands.
Oh, thanks.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he produced it, and then I have a fantastic mastering engineer. His name is Taylor Franklin, and he's won some Billboard awards. Like, he is top notch.
That's really cool.
So I had Bailey and I just, in his bedroom, just made this song together. And then when we got the completed track, then I sent it over to Taylor Franklin, who is the one that mastered it and made it boom through your speakers the way that it does.
Very
Yeah.
cool. Well,
Yeah.
congrats to them and congrats to you because it turned out so good.
I'm incredibly lucky to work with
Yeah.
people like them, for sure. They make the magic happen.
Totally. So more on you as an artist, though. Obviously, music is in your blood at this point. Most musicians and artists have enjoyed listening throughout their lives. So I want to know what was playing, in the car growing up. What sort of even inspired this sound on this song?
Yeah, so I grew up with a mom that she loved 80s rock. We had a lot of 80s rock. Led Zeppelin was a big one. My dad was more into the 80s pop kind of stuff. He liked Elton John,
Sure.
which I definitely think Elton John has been an influence to some of my stuff, which is it's you wouldn't think it, but I'm a pianist. And so
Right.
I am highly inspired by him because he is also a very accomplished pianist, and he has built a pop career on that aspect. So yeah, definitely a lot of 80s music, Led Zeppelin, Duran Duran, Wham, just classics. I grew up
Sure.
a lot of that. And then there was also, my family is a Christian family. So there was a lot of contemporary Christian music that I grew up listening
Sure.
to. Just a vast genre of things, obviously top 40s, the stuff that's on the radio. And I think, me just being somebody that's musically inclined, I was just, always hearing songs. And part of what kind of stemmed me wanting to start writing was I'd hear a top 40 song or whatever, and then I'd take it to my piano and I'd kind of like cover it, but I'd cover it in a very unusual way. And that was the kind of thing, I think a huge thing that sparked songwriting inspiration for me
Cool.
was being able to revamp a song and hear how different it sounds. And yeah, so definitely a lot of 80s music though, for sure. I
Yeah,
grew up
and
listening
I
to.
can feel that in the music, but honestly, I think the more that you grew up on and the more that you have surrounded by you, it just expands you as an artist, and you'll be able to pull from that subconsciously going forward. So it's
Yeah.
only a benefit. So now that you've gone through this process of obviously the first step would be experiencing the problem all the way up to the clicking publish button on the song. Is there something along the entire process that you enjoy the most or that you look forward to?
I I love all aspects of it. I genuinely enjoy just I can't explain it. I have not had the opportunity to do live shows yet, so I don't know how that feels, but
Sure.
everything besides that, when I write a new song, when I the lyrics start to come together and I'm just these rhymes just start happening, when I get to take it to the studio and then I get to hear it actually turning into a song, I guess.
Right.
um, it's every process of it. There is this incredible high that I get that is unmatched. Like there's just nothing like it. I always come home from the studio or after I finish writing a song, and I talk a lot, if you can't tell. I am going a mile a minute. Like I just get so excited about it, and I know it's what I'm meant to do. Like there's just no feeling like it in the world. Um so I mean I every bit is amazing. But I have to say my favorite is just when I'm by myself. And I've come up with either an idea or a melody, and then my brain, like I'm very imaginative. So I just start imagining stories, I start imagining scenes and all of this stuff that ends up creating lyrics that I end up are able to turn into melodies and write them down. And there's this
Right.
process that goes in my head that's very almost magical. And it's just me by myself, nobody around, and like just being able to write that song down, and then play it and just be so vulnerable and emotional in that moment and sing it exactly the way I want to, because I'm not
Right.
nervous about how people are translating it or anything.
Of course.
Yeah, so I have to say the writing process is probably my favorite out of it all.
Makes sense.
Um, yeah.
And then, obviously, once you get to actually playing these songs live, then the world will change.
Oh my gosh,
Of
yes.
course.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
What do you feel that your music says about you? Like, what message, not even just on this song, but like an overarching message of all of your music says about you as a person?
Yeah. So I mean, I have only two singles out, so I have a lot of stuff that's in my repertoire that I think people haven't heard yet. So this will be one that I think people will go back later and really be like, oh, okay, this translates.
Yes.
Right now, the two songs I have, Miss Me, a bit of a sadder message, and then Mr. Maybe is very boppy and happy. But big part of who I am as a person, which I think my music translates, is I am somebody that's very emotional, very almost a little dark and sad inside, but I have a very happy, positive sort of outlook and shell, if you will. The
Mm.
way that I speak with people and the way that I interact is very, I want to make people feel good. And so I think almost my music has that. I think it's, when immediately upon first listen, it's kind of poppy, happy. Oh, this is a bop, this is a vibe. But then when you really start to listen to the lyrics, you realize, wow, like I really relate to this. This actually kind of hits home. This hits hard for me.
Totally.
And I think it's almost kind of a manifestation of who I am as a person. I think, upon immediate interaction, first meeting, you might be like, oh, like she's a fun, cool person. But then as you get to know me, there's layers of myself that are very vulnerable and kind of a little dark and a little deep. And
Yeah.
that's how I write. That's how my music comes out. So
As as unfortunate as people on the outside may think that that could be, what they don't know is that it's making amazing music, and that you really do get to know the real person from their music. And then it
yeah.
also goes back to just being an artist, and people around the world in countries all over the world are going to listen, not know who you are, but resonate with your stories, which is just kind of
Yes.
like a mind-blowing thing as a whole.
It's unbelievable. Yeah, it's our universal language. Like I'll
Yeah,
listen to music in all different languages and absolutely
totally.
love it and enjoy it. And then if you love it enough, you'll look up the lyrics and be like, "Oh my gosh, this is what it's
Right,
about."
right.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, hypothetically speaking, what does the next year of your musical life look like? In a perfect world, of course.
In a perfect world, I would love to perform.
Mhm.
So that's something that I've talked a little bit with Bailey about, is getting some tracks created that I can
Yeah.
perform over, because that's something I don't have currently. I
Mhm.
don't have ones that I can perform with. So we might be working on that soon. I would love to start doing shows. So in a year from now, if I was doing shows, that would be really fun for me, really cool, definitely a dream. And I would love to have either an EP or an album out. Hopefully, have a music video. Never
There
done
you
a music
go.
video. I have some music video ideas that I think are actually really interesting and unique that could be really fun. So yeah,
Gotta keep
music
those dreams
videos and
big.
shows and all kinds of stuff. But I definitely have a lot of music that I'm working on that's going to be coming out. And yeah, so we've got a lot of big stuff happening for
Very
2022.
cool. Well,
Yeah.
I'm personally invested at this point, so I'll definitely be keeping a close eye.
I hope so.
Of course. All right, I've got a couple more questions for you at this point.
Sure.
I want to know, obviously, because we're a music blog and we're always trying to put people onto what they should be listening to, are there any local artists that you can recommend, or even just certain highlights from your playlist nowadays that you want people to check out?
Absolutely. So Bailey's band, I'm going to recommend them. They're
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
outstanding. They're called All the Rest. They used to be four guys. Now it's him and his cousins. So there's just two of them. They turned
Cool.
into a duo this year. Um, Unbelievable music. So and their style is similar to mine. So I think people that enjoy the indie pop kind of sound, they would love
Totally.
them. So All the Rest. And then there's these other guys that I have recently come to know that are also extremely talented. Their band is called Lost Body, and they have one single out. And they're growing. They're actually doing a show in December, their first show ever. So
Nice.
proud to them,
Congrats
very
to
proud of
them.
them.
Yeah.
Very cool guys, just good guys. Always looking to help other people, and they've done a lot with like sharing my music and telling people about my music. And they also recently started working with Bailey, so kind of
Sweet.
through me. So I like to
All in the
take like
family.
props.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm
Cool.
I'm gonna pitch Lost Body and All the Rest, who are both indie pop
Very
bands.
cool. That's
Yeah.
awesome. I more prefer when people shout out the local bands that actually need eyes on them instead of
Oh yeah, absolutely.
course. And I want to say, Alexa, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to make this work. It has been an
Yeah,
absolute treat getting to speak to you.
yeah, you
And
too.
for everyone else out there who has not listened, Miss Me is out. But I'm also going to say listen to her debut, because it even shows this evolution of your sound in just two songs. And also to follow along, because it sounds like there's a lot more coming in the next year.
There's some exciting stuff, not gonna
Very
lie. But
cool.
thanks for listening to me ramble.
Hey, that's what I'm here for.
Yeah.
Totally kidding. Seriously, though, thank you so much. I hope you have a great rest of your day, and we'll definitely be staying in touch.
Yes, thank you so
All right.
much.
Bye bye.
Bye.